What's up, everybody? Chris Eaton here, the Fatman Nation, Snakes and the Fat Man. I got a question for you. The other night, I'm listening to this podcast, and I hear one newish ball python breeder ask another newish ball python breeder, "Hey, who do you think is gonna make it?" Now, I'm sitting here thinking, what the hell do they even mean by that? Because these days, depending on who you ask, making it might mean becoming Instagram famous. Might be you dancing with a ball python. Or it might mean, like it used to, selling 1,000 snakes a year out of a house when nobody even knows your name. And I want to preface this by saying I personally like both of these two gentlemen that were having this discussion. Personally and professionally, I like them very much. That being said, let's talk about what making it really means in this hobby and why some of the most successful people in this hobby have never danced for a reel or gone live on Instagram. We're living in the era of social media proof, right? You've got guys thinking if it ain't on Instagram, it doesn't exist. If someone's not posting clutches, doing morph breakdowns, or hashtagging ball python life, then they must have quit the business, right? Wrong. See, this new generation of breeders have confused visibility with validity. They equate followers with financial freedom. And yeah, marketing is important, but that's not the whole picture, is it? Now, I want to tell you right off the bat that I might be a little off on some of these. Some of these guys I haven't personally talked to in a few years. I'm going off memory here, and I had a stroke like 8 years ago, so give me a little leeway, okay? But let me drop some names that most of these social media breeders wouldn't recognize if they were sitting next to them at a Tinley auction. Amir, the man left the hobby around 2012, right? Except he didn't. He's still out there quietly pushing out thousands of snakes a year. Chun from Dynasty Reptiles probably does 3 to 6,000 ball pythons a year. You ever see him doing a boy band dance on TikTok with a snake? No, no, exactly. Adam Chesla barely posts. Guy barely talks. He just breeds. He's been in the hobby for 25 plus years. Most of today's social media guys wouldn't last 6 months on this guy's grind. Reptiles by Mac, thousands of ball pythons a year. Mark and Kim Bell, still some of the biggest breeders on the planet. You ever see them on a podcast? No, you won't. It doesn't mean they're not killing it. Doesn't mean that they didn't make it. This isn't some kind of myth or fable. This is the foundation of what the hobby was built on by people who didn't need Patreon to keep the lights on. Let's be clear here. Making it isn't about who gets the most likes on a gene that'll probably be forgotten by Christmas. It's about sustainability. It's about building a customer base. It's about knowing your genetics, managing overhead, shipping the animals correctly, and still loving this shit enough to do it every day. You want to know what making it looks like? Paying your mortgage with reptile income. Still breeding 10, 15, 20 years later. Not breeding to beg the algorithm to stay relevant. This hobby has turned into a sideshow of influencers and hype men. But behind the curtain, the real players aren't making content because they're too busy making bank deposits. When you think only the people you see on Instagram or YouTube are the people who matter, you start thinking that the people that you don't see have disappeared. And that's dangerous. Because a lot of the original guys, they left social media, not the hobby. They don't care if you know their name from YouTube. They care that you know their name because you know the hobby. And honestly, if you think someone quit just because you don't see them on Facebook anymore, you're not looking in the right places. You're looking for fame. You're not looking for success. Look, if you're new in the hobby, then welcome to the hobby. For real. You're needed. The hobby only grows when the next wave of people step up. But just remember, you're not playing a game of likes, all right? You're building your own history right now. And some of the best players in this hobby don't give a single shit who goes viral or not. So keep learning, keep grinding, and when you ask who's gonna make it, don't just look up some analytics on Instagram. Look at who has the ability to still be around 10 years from now. And look, I'm not an OG in this hobby, all right? I never claimed to be. I haven't done a fraction of the shit for this industry as the people that I've mentioned here, all right? I never claimed to be an OG in this hobby. I have a Dick and Fart Joke podcast, and I had a ball python breeding business for 10 years, 5 years ago. But I've been around long enough to see the cycles repeat and the legends kind of fade into the shadows. But they were fading into the shadows on purpose. Do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment below, and tell me who you think is gonna make it in the next 5, 10, 15 years. But do me a favor, before you do that, think bigger than an IG follower count. Take it easy, guys.